I'm Monty Halls, and I'm on a mission to solve some of the greatest mysteries in the world of diving.
From the deadliest dive sites on Earth.
We have a compulsing diver.
To missing treasure in an African lake.
Is there a safe full of gold?
From Japan's lost Atlantis.
It's an extraordinary sight.
To the most perfectly preserved lake I've ever seen. This is deep and dangerous diving.
It's a really tight squeeze.
It will push me to my very limits.
This is the most dangerous dive site on Earth.
The Blue Hole on Egypt's Red Sea coast is thought to have claimed over 100 lives.
There is something that's killing healthy, active, fit young men.
He hit the ground and he started to convulse and died.
I've lost a friend in the Blue Hole. He just stepped in, as so many people have before, and the next thing anyone knew was they were doing a body recovery.
So what is it that's killing dozens of divers in the prime of their lives?
I've recruited some of the best deep divers in the business to investigate the curse of the Blue Hole.
The Red Sea is one of the most popular dive destinations in the world. And whilst many are attracted by its fish and coral, Dahab on the eastern Sinai Peninsula has another irresistible draw.
When I first got into diving 30 years ago, the one thing I heard about was the Blue Hole of Dahab. This big echoing tomb that people went into and didn't come out of. That's the reason I'm here, is I want to solve that mystery once and for all.
To start my investigation into the so-called curse of the Blue Hole, I've arranged to meet Dahab diving legend Tarek Omar.
Hello, welcome to the Red Sea.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tarek has been diving the Blue Hole for the past 20 years.
How many people do you think have died in the hole? I've heard 40, maybe, do you think it's more, less?
It's over 100.
Wow, so a lot of people have got in there and not come out.
Tarek himself has recovered many of the bodies. He tells me of an ancient legend that some used to explain the curse.
Legend said that a girl's name is Shaheen, and she was in love with someone, and actually her family wanted to get her married someone else, and she suicide in the
so she jumped into the hole.
They believe that's why her soul is still young, and she attracted.
Now she's calling young men into the hole.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
How interesting. How
I
interesting.
believe it long because since 1994 I've been there as a young and as an old, and I never actually.
You're obviously not her type.
I think so.
Whether you choose to believe the legend or not, the curse of the Blue Hole has put Dahab on vogue.
I first came to Dahab 15 years ago, and even that recently, it still felt really remote and unsettled. But now it's just been developed at an unbelievable rate. And the reason is the Blue Hole is a beacon for divers and adventurers from around the world.
The 30-minute drive takes you past a police checkpoint on the edge of town and out along a desert shore where camel trains now carry tourists along the old Bedouin trading route.
That's the Blue Hole. You can see this dark patch in the bay there and everything that's built up around it. One of the most famous dive sites in the world. But for great many people, this is the last dive they ever make. I've just stepped off the road. There it is, right there. There's the road. And if I take a few more steps into the sea, I'm stepping into a 400-foot abyss.
If the legend is to be believed, it's here that the girl committed suicide, placing a curse on the Blue Hole. To start my investigation, I'm going to follow the most spectacular route into the Blue Hole. One that starts 200 meters up the coast. This dive is so popular that you have to wait your turn. Some of the divers in the group ahead of me look relatively inexperienced. But for the vast majority of visitors, this is where their big adventure in the Blue Hole starts.
Beautiful. Emerging into the huge blue space from that narrow canyon and heading off along the reef. Lovely.
It's a 200-meter swim to the hole itself, along a stunning reef that drops sharply away. In places, you're looking down a 1,000-meter drop. For inexperienced divers, the sense of vertigo can induce panic that can quickly turn into a life-threatening emergency as their breathing rate increases.
Just ahead of us is a group of divers. One of them is really struggling and having to be helped by their friends. It just looks very uncomfortable down here. To translate that scenario, to 30 meters deeper, 40 meters deeper, you have a genuinely life-threatening situation.
Even where we are, at 20 meters, a high breathing rate can quickly drain your air supply, and the dive is far from over.
You can see them disappearing up and over the lip. The other side of there is the Blue Hole.
Once over the saddle, you're still looking into a 100-meter abyss.
Very good. Right in the middle of the Blue Hole. Really beautiful. A great feeling.
The group ahead of me has narrowly avoided a genuine emergency. The diver I spotted earlier has been unable to make it to the surface without help.
If ever I needed a vivid illustration of what can go wrong in the Blue Hole, the group ahead of me, just on a nice bimble, beautiful day, clear water, one of the girls ran out of air and finished the dive using the octopus regulator, the spare regulator of the dive guide. That's not a problem if you're reasonably shallow. If you start going deep, you're in a whole world of trouble.
She lives to dive another day, but many have not been so lucky. A short walk from where we've just got out, there's a stark reminder of the mystery I've come to investigate.
It's a very poignant place indeed, because each one of these headstones tells the story of someone who just went in there for a dive and just didn't come back.
One of the most famous stories is of Yuri Lipsky, a 22-year-old diving instructor who died in 2000.
I met him maybe 1 or 2 hours before his accident. He was willing to film the Blue Hole, but he did not carry the right equipment or the right certification to go that deep. So I refused, actually. And I discovered 1 hour later, 2 hours later, find another diver, and he convinced him that they can go together and film the Blue Hole. Sometimes you tell a diver, it's a danger, don't do it, you are not ready for it, and then actually his ego is answering you. Then you don't have any control of the diver's ego. He should know better.
Armed with a small camera to film his dive, Yuri stepped into the Blue Hole.
The camera rolled the whole time.
It rolled till he hit the ground and he started to convulse and die.
At Yuri's mother's request, Tarek dived down to recover the body and the camera, which had come to rest 100 meters from the surface.
To see the person you talked to him yesterday, he was alive and kicking. And today you see him just a body lying down in the blue. I was sad. People think what I can see with my eye in the Red Sea, I can reach. Big mistake, because you could see up to 100 meters.
You can see a long, long way, and it looks attainable.
You think it's very easy, so it gives him a false feeling of security.
He stepped off, he came here and stepped off.
Yes.
What was his problem?
After we recovered him and we saw the filming, I discovered that he was overloaded with the heavy equipment, and none of it, it's a quick relief. So when he lost his buoyancy because the compensator could not compensate his weight, nothing gonna stop him.
So he would have been tumbling down an underwater cliff.
This is what happened. If you saw the film, you see how he lost control.
When he got to 80 or say 90 meters, we got to the bottom of the wall.
Yes.
Was there any way back for Yuri then? Suppose he'd cut all the lines on him, suppose he'd
I don't
still
think
been...
so. I don't think so. Plus, as soon as he crossed the barrier of 50, 60 meters, now we're talking about oxygen toxicity.
Yeah.
We talk about the stress, the narcosis, the toxicity, that's enough to kill you.
How did you feel watching that video?
It was the first film for us to see someone actually die in front of our eyes. I felt very sad because now I'm gonna give the mom, she's gonna live the rest of her life with her son die in front of her.
Yes.
And this is something I regret till this moment.
Yeah.
I don't think any family deserves to see their loved one, how's he dying.
True.
To see him struggling and dying, it's very hard. Why he did not listen to my advice?
I've recruited a team of elite deep divers to help me fathom out what's luring so many people to their deaths. My support divers are cave and wreck diving specialist Rich Stevenson and Andy Torrent, an ex-para and underwater bomb disposal expert. Our main underwater cameraman is Dan Stevenson. And all of our dives will be supervised from the surface by one of Britain's most experienced expedition leaders, Kevin Gill. I've been diving for 30 years, but I've never been as deep as I'll need to go to investigate the curse of the blue
initial
hole.
impression for me, what's it going to take to get me into the hole?
When you're diving, you'll have a support team, you'll have the right equipment. However, the one thing that all that support around you cannot control is your own psychology.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem, is having the ability to know when enough's enough without fear that you're going to let people down.
And that's why a lot of people do die in situations like this, because of ego. But they just push it a bit farther.
Yeah. It's a problem because I've got a massive ego.
No.
To try and turn up some more clues, I've arranged to meet Dr. Adel Taher. Before the Egyptian Revolution in 2010, his diver decompression chamber was the busiest in the world. He first dived here over 30 years ago, when exploration of the blue hole was in its infancy.
I came out feeling great, and I decided this is one of my favorite dive spots. I used to do it 3 times a week. And then we've had the first fatality, and it was somebody that I knew very well. By the time we arrived, there was another fatality. 2 of the friends went down to look for the body, and one of them only came up. This unfortunately became a trend. Whenever somebody was lost, others that went searching for him, usually 1, sometimes even 2, would be lost within the next 48 hours.
One of the keys to unlocking the curse of the blue hole is understanding its formation.
20,000 years ago, sea level was much lower, and this was a cave. And then the roof of the cave collapsed. Sea level subsequently rose to the level it is today, creating the extraordinary situation where someone can step off a sun lounger and fall straight into 400 feet of water.
There are other blue holes all over the world, all formed in the same way. Between them, they've only claimed a handful of lives. So what makes the one at Dahab different?
I thought as a first diver it'd be good to actually get in on open circuit gear, normal dive equipment, I'm just going down to 40 metres, where hopefully I'll be able to see what all the fuss is about.
Monty to surface, that's dive start. Over.
Roger that, over.
40 metres is significant. For their own safety, that's as deep as recreational divers can go. But in the blue hole, there's something deeper that some divers find irresistible.
This is 40 metres, and just in the distance you can see this little bit of light, bit of mystery off there in the blue, and it really beckons you.
50 metres from the surface, what was once the mouth of a dry cave now forms a massive underwater arch. This is what sets Dahab's blue hole apart from all the others, and what tempts so many divers beyond the safe limit of 40 metres. This is as far as I can go, but Andy and Rich are using more sophisticated equipment, which means that they can drop down to the arch.
It just feels like it'd be a couple of fin kicks and I'd be there. But that short distance, for many divers, is the last swim they ever do.
So what is it about the depth of the arch that puts divers breathing normal air in such danger? I need to understand what's happening to those who are lured down below the 40-metre limit. Sylvie Martin has been diving the Red Sea for over a decade. She has first-hand knowledge of just what can happen when you're tempted by the lure of the arch.
You lose the control over your mind. That happened to me. I started to sink and I really didn't react at all. I was just watching my computer and I thought, oh, I'm sinking. And then I thought, okay, I have to do something. So I wanted to inflate my buoyancy control, but what I did, and this is what they told me later, I deflated. Yeah. Oh. So I was sinking down, and it was not in fear. It was okay. I was sinking down. I said, yeah.
Do you have an idea what depth you got to when you were sinking?
I think it was 64, something like this.
Wow.
And then my buddy, he came. He just grabbed me and brought me back up to 25 meters. And then was the depth I remember. Then what happened? Oh my God. Yeah. I asked him, what happened? He said, you were totally.
Yeah.
So what sinister forces were at work in the arch? It's all to do with how gases behave under pressure. To experience this for myself, I've come to meet John Parler at the Diving Diseases Research Centre in Plymouth.
Right, well, this is the chamber we're diving.
Here they can recreate the effects of a deep dive by forcing pressurised air into a sealed chamber. Recreational divers breathe normal air, a mixture of oxygen and nitrogen. As we drop to 50 metres, the pressure that's causing the balloon to shrink also affects how these gases behave. At this depth, the air I'm breathing is 6 times as dense as it is at sea level. It even distorts our voices.
You can feel that slightly sort of foggy thing of your thought processes are definitely kind of fairly messed up, right?
I'm experiencing nitrogen narcosis. In divers' slang, I'm becoming narked. It's caused by pressurised nitrogen being forced into my bloodstream. You can get mild symptoms at 30 metres, but at 50 metres, as Sylvie Martin discovered, it becomes a major problem.
People say it's like being drunk. If I was drunk, I'd be playing the guitar and dancing up and down.
John has set me a simple task, to spell the word underwater with magnetic letters.
There's definitely a C in here, isn't there?
This would be no problem at sea level, but at the equivalent of 50 metres in a fog of nitrogen narcosis, it's difficult to think straight. I eventually get it right, but Dan, our cameraman, is also suffering the effects as he struggles to keep focus.
If I had to make decisions now, life-altering decisions, I would be in trouble.
I'm beginning to see how narked divers attempting the arch can quickly start to get things wrong.
I'm at the bottom of a 5-story building. There's 5 stories of water above my head.
Monty, that's actually 15 stories.
15 stories. There's 15 stories above my head at the moment.
It might seem trivial in the chamber, but 50 metres underwater, bad decisions become critical. And the deeper you go, the worse it gets. Over 60 metres, oxygen itself becomes toxic. Every breath could be your last.
The people going through the arch, believe me, they're playing Russian roulette.
If narcosis was the only problem confronting divers as they came face to face with the arch, many might just be able to push through. But that's only one of the life-threatening hazards they have to contend with.
As you can see, that's a full bottle because we're in 1 atmosphere of pressure. But as I descend through the water column, it gets compressed. It's an irresistible force of nature. It's simple physics. And that's precisely what's happening to the inside of my body as well.
That's the bottle that was full on the surface, of only at 10 metres. And you can see it's half the size of what it was. And that's exactly what's happening to the airspaces within my body. And with your lungs, it means you've got to fill them with more air.
Every 10 metres I descend exposes my body and the bottle to the pressure of another atmosphere.
Now this is 30 metres. You can see the bottle is completely crushed. It's a quarter of the size it was on the surface. 4 times the amount of air would be required to fill my lungs here as it would up there. And that relationship increases the deeper you go.
Because of its depth, the arch forces divers who swim through it to use 6 times as much air as they would at the surface. And that means their tanks run out 6 times quicker.
The problem is that air source isn't just the air that you breathe, it's also the air you put in your life jacket to make you float. So if you run out of air, not only have you got to hold your breath, you've also got to try and fin to the surface because you'll go to put air in your life jacket and there'll be nothing there, and you just start sinking.
And you must hit a point, you know, that you know you're going to die. Yeah.
Is this what happened to Yuri Lipsky, the diver who filmed his own death? To find out, I need to go beyond the safe limit of 40 metres and into a new and threatening world.
One of the theories I've heard is that divers push down towards the arch, get confused, get on narcosis, and then see the light coming in through the arch and think that that is the surface and head down instead of up. So I think the idea is to try and dive deep and just see if you are getting this sort of ingress of light and this inversion thing going on with a light at the bottom and the dark at the top. It's another little piece, another little fingerprint that we put together in this forensic examination of what's going on in this hole. So cool. Okay, it'll be good.
While Dan and Rich from my support team are qualified to go down to the bottom of the hole at 100 metres, I can only go to 60. But that's deeper than I've ever been before.
And if you want to know what 60 metres looks like, well, it looks like this.
To go that deep, I've had to have special training that's taken my diving career to a whole new level. There are 2 types of kit available to divers. And if I'm to dive the arch safely, I need to choose the right one.
The first one is open circuit Scuba, self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Most of the divers who die in the blue hole are using a single scuba tank. With this system, as you breathe out, your exhaled air bubbles into the water and is lost. So your time underwater is limited by the capacity of the tank on your back.
So what's the solution? The solution is to try and recycle that air. So the exhaled air you're breathing, all those bubbles that disappear, you breathe them back into your system. So this is a rebreather.
Left untreated, the carbon dioxide in your exhaled air would kill you. So the rebreather is fitted with a filter which removes it. so you can go deeper for longer. But even with a rebreather, things can go wrong.
Dive to the surface, dive to the surface. We have a convulsing diver, over.
Surface to support divers, bring the diver up.
We've just finished running a simulated emergency to test our evacuation plan. And while we're all focused on Andy, our casualty, there's a genuine emergency unfolding. Dan, our cameraman, has had a problem with his rebreather and has been inhaling carbon dioxide that should have been filtered out.
Dan just mentioned he wasn't feeling that good at the end of the dive, so Kev just put him on oxygen. Now, if that happens deep, it's a real problem. It's one of the things that really does scare rebreather divers is carbon dioxide. It's down at 30 metres, but of course the boys will be going down to 100. And down there, a CO2 hit is a whole new, different problem. Very, very serious indeed.
Give it another 5 and then just see what you feel like when you've been off for a minute.
It's that slightly frightening thing, isn't it? Because your mental processes are being affected, your judgment and your decision making is probably being affected, and at depth that can be an issue, can't it?
Yeah, and it's a killer.
To the superstitious, Dan's carbon dioxide hit might look like evidence of the curse at work. But what was really going on? While I was at the Diving Diseases Research Centre in Plymouth, I removed the all-important filter from my rebreather, so I'll be able to recognise the symptoms if the same thing happens to me. As the carbon dioxide builds up in my body, the effects are clear within a couple of minutes.
How's your head?
So I'm not in control, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, just try and slow your breathing down a bit. So we're seeing he's looking a bit flushed, a little bit sweaty, and we're seeing a little bit of tremor in the fingers. And his breathing rate is increasing, and he's not going to be able to control that.
After 4 minutes, I'm really struggling.
Good to come out of that. Some good breath. That's it. It'll take a while to pull out.
You can feel you're right on the edge. You know, I'm this tightly wrapped macho idiot about things like this, and you always think you can get through anything. If that had happened at depth, I would have been in a world of trouble. I really would, because there's only one thing I could have done, and that's come off the loop. And unless you've got enough bailout gas to get you to the surface, to get you to a safe place, to get you to a safety dive your buddy or whatever, you're going to drown.
The aim of today's dive is to test the theory that light coming through the arch is tricking panicked and inexperienced divers into thinking down is actually up. My role will be to man a safety station at 60 metres. So if Dan or Rich have a problem at the bottom of the hole, I'll be able to help them back to the surface.
You've always got a plan for worst case.
Yeah.
So you're going to be above them at 60 metres. Above you is going to be another safety diver, and above him is going to be another safety diver. The main thrust being that if we do get a situation where someone has to be recovered to surface, then they can be handed off, basically.
These are lessons you've learned over lots of years, and they're lessons that have been
Hard
learned the
to
hard way.
learn, unfortunately, yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I have lost a friend in the arch, a lovely, lovely man. I remember him telling me about how excited he was about how his deep diving career was developing and how fulfilling he was finding it, you know, just sort of pushing those limits a little bit more. He just stepped in, as so many people have before, and the next thing anyone knew was they were doing a body recovery. I still remember the sort of seismic shock, just a real tragedy.
While I provide a backup, Dan and Rich will descend to the very bottom of the hole, 100 metres down, looking for tricks of the light and any other clues that might explain the blue hole's deadly reputation.
Yeah, Dan, do you want to give me a heads up on dive start, please?
Dive start, over.
You step off a lip, you feel this great blue void. There's
There's a distinct moment when you almost leave the world of recreational fun diving and you drop into the technical zone and just start to push into real depth. And all the while you feel this cavernous amphitheatre opening up around you.
As we get further from the surface, we start to focus on the daylight streaming through the arch. It's as if it's daring us to take a closer look.
There it is! That's the arch! It's amazing!
It looks absolutely beautiful, and you can see the compulsion to go through it. It's just the next progression, the next natural step is to take yourself through this beautiful space.
From where I am, the arch is flooded with light, and it looks like a short swim through. Is that why divers who get to this point press on, rather than returning to the surface? While I stay at 60 metres, Dan and Rich descend beyond the arch to the bottom of the blue hole itself.
It's thrilling to watch the guys get smaller and smaller and smaller as they headed off into the blue. These two tiny ant-like figures, they look like astronauts.
As they look for tricks of the light coming through the arch, they make a grim discovery. Weight belts, ditched in a desperate and possibly futile attempt to get back to the surface 100 metres away. Having had a proper look at the arch, I'm a step closer to understanding what's happening in the blue hole.
You know this theory about people think down is up and up is down? I don't think that's the case.
No.
Where I was hanging, you can see light through the arch. It's not that you think that's the way home.
It's that old problem that once you get a bit narked and a bit panicked, you fixate.
The light,
yeah.
And I was going there, and I'm going to go there, and that's the way, and that's the quickest way for me out. And it's not.
People tend not to be able to kind of look up. So obviously they won't see the light above them. They just, like say, fixate that light in front of them and just start swimming for it.
And that's the worst thing they can do. With no reference points for scale, most people, myself included, are tricked by the arch into thinking it's a relatively short swim.
I have a distinct perception of the arch, and that is a couple of fin kicks you through, 5-10 metres max.
That's the common misconception. So I've set up a little example for you here. Rich is actually 10 metres away. But the actual arch is 30 metres, which is where Andy is.
Wow.
So that's why people get it wrong.
That is a long swim when you're panicking, you're not feeling that great, or even halfway there. It's a long way, isn't it?
And it's dark, and it's deep down there, and you've got one cylinder.
Yeah.
And at 50 metres, where the pressure is 6 times what it is at sea level, you're using 6 times as much air.
Paranoia sets in suddenly, so that overhead environment now feels like it's trapping you, which actually is. There's a solid piece of rock above your head. So they start to panic. They'll check their contents gauge, how much air they've got left. They'll find, best case scenario, they've got half a cylinder left. Which at that depth, they've got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And those last sort of 2 minutes of air they've got left is just ebbing away. And the chance of them making it out of the arch, let alone back to the surface, become nil.
So beyond a certain point, if things go wrong, there is no way back. Yet people still attempt it. And to understand that, I need to swim the arch for myself.
Just to summarise, you've got this arch drawing you in. You've got this beacon. And the depth it's at means you're not making correct decisions. We're in an overhead environment that is further than you think it is, and you're running out of air. It's like Mother Nature has created the perfect diver trap.
So I've accounted for all the factors that contribute to most of the deaths here. Or have I? It seems there's one final, inescapable truth.
Yeah. The persons who come to the counter and ask, can I dive the blue hole? I want to go blue hole, you know, only men.
Do you think there's something in men's psyche?
Absolutely. Men, they want to have adventure, you know, and they want to have a challenge. And women are more like, oh, you know, can I do this? Am I good enough? You know, I don't know if this is in the nature of women, but when you hear something about accident, it's man, it's man, it's man, it's man.
In fact, 24-year-old Barbara Dillinger, who died in 1998, is the only female recorded in the memorials.
Just about all of these plaques are men. And just about all of these plaques are men of a certain age. If you look at the dates on them, this is two guys who died in the hole in 1988. One's 28, the other one's 29. This gentleman here, 24, and this one here, 34. They're all kind of mid-late 20s, early 30s. And I think that speaks volumes for the type of person that's going into the hole and not coming out. We talk about oxygen toxicity, about narcosis, the air you're breathing becoming narcotic. By far and away, the most dangerous substance in that hole is testosterone.
It turns out that even my own safety diver has succumbed to the lure of Mother Nature's diver trap.
I dived the blue hole when I was 25, yeah.
Right.
On a single cylinder.
Through the arch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of diving in the military at the time, so I was kind of used to dealing with narcotic effects of air at that depth. I wasn't quite as vulnerable as other people who might be down there. And I figured I'll just bomb straight down at 55, swung through the arch, back up the side, no dramas.
Do you remember how much you surfaced with?
I couldn't be 10, 20 bar. Yeah.
So, one breath.
Well, 6 seconds of air, yeah, one probably give you about 6 seconds of air.
Yeah.
Roughly.
It's interesting to hear you say that. So you had all the experience of deep air, the impetuosity of youth, so you're confident down there, you're happy down there.
I was utterly immortal.
The whole thrust of what I'm trying to prove here and the conclusions we're drawing here is that to do it is stupid. Some fantastically experienced divers have died in the blue hole. And Andy himself admits that if something had happened, if he'd got down there and the current had been stronger than he'd been expecting and he hadn't been able to make it through the arch or he'd had to work too hard, he would have died.
Okay guys, so everyone's checked their rebreathers, done a full pre-dive on them, everyone's completely happy about the unit.
To dive the arch safely, we're using rebreathers and taking some of Dahab's top technical divers to man our safety stops. They're only too aware of the hole's reputation. The last death was just 3 weeks before we arrived.
They simply jumped in on their own with no guide, no nothing. Typically, if you're going somewhere by your own, you're trying to do something that the guide will say no to.
Yeah.
So I suspect that they were doing maybe a bounce dive to the bottom at 90-95 and straight up. Something went wrong, narcosis, oxygen toxicity, whatever it was, one was critical and one was dead straight away on the surface. They have checkpoints on the way here and they have tourist police here, but there's always ways around it.
Statistically, that must make it the most dangerous dive site on Earth.
Statistically, it might be, but if you're qualified, you know what you're doing, I consider it to be the safest dive site in the world because it has great visibility. It's a hole, you can't get lost, and it's simply a way down and up with no current.
So this is it at long last, a chance to actually go through the arch. You know, this is the compulsion that brings people here. So off we go.
For me, as the surface supervisor, this is the scariest dive. It's as deep as Monty's been. There is no direct descent to surface. So out of all the dives we've done, this for me is the one that I'm most concerned about.
Appearing out of the murk is this hazy blue shape that gradually solidifies into the famous arch.
Beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
You line yourself up and think, right, this is it, this is the moment where I'm going through. You quite quickly get into an overhead environment. It's an intimidating feeling. It's a wonderful feeling, but you certainly know exactly where you are.
The storm was heading down through the arch with one cylinder. Forget it.
Hell would be swimming through and realising that you're running out of air.
You were stressed. You got that focus. Can't go that way, can't go that way, can't go up. The only way you're going is down. And that's what it's telling people.
Say, well, what's happening is there's evil spirits down here. And strangely enough, the thing with the blue hole is that there is something down there luring people down, and it's the arch.
You get this perfect storm where nitrogen narcosis kicks in and just melts your brain. And because it's 7 times atmospheric pressure, your air supply will only last 1/7 of what it would on the surface.
Some people freak out in the middle because they think it's not ending. And other people, the narcosis gets them to the extent that they let the ocean take them.
All the miles and all the effort and all the training, all the logistics, everything, all the personnel, it's all culminated in that one moment, really.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
It really gets you down there, and there's kind of two sides to that. There's that it's very beautiful, it's a stunning place to be, beautiful blue void just disappearing off into the gloom, and the flip side of that is that it's incredibly intimidating.
I started my investigation with Tarek Omar's tale of the girl who committed suicide in the hole to escape an arranged marriage. So does he believe this is a cursed cabin?
I believe there is a curse in diver's hat, not in the hole. The diver, they curse the blue hole, not the blue hole actually curse the diver. This is what I believe.
That gorgeous blue light you see in this amazing amphitheatre that's saying come down and swim through, that's the honey trap, and that's the spirit of that girl. You know, that's what the arch is. It's this beautiful thing saying, come down to me. Come and spend a while in a place where you won't be able to think straight and where the air you're breathing will become toxic and will kill you. Come and dwell with me a while and stay down here forever.